Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And we have a special spoiler review for The Fall Guy, and joining me, the man who has seen this movie more than probably everyone else I know combined at this point that I've talked to about this movie, and it's Rod Liptrot. Rod, thank you so much for coming on.
Shane, it's good to see you, my friends. Always a pleasure coming on talking movies with you. So
Absolutely.
thanks for having me.
And this movie was made for Loving Me, Baby. And you will have Disco Era Kiss stuck in your head the whole time. I, I, as sitting there in that theater with my wife, when it started like the kick in, like the digga 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 digga, I'm
Hmm.
just like, I just turned to my wife. I'm like, yep, I'm ready for this. And yes, did they use it seven, eight, nine times? They sure did. But this film is from writer Drew Pierce, based off of the television series, what starring Lee Majors, I think it was,
Hmm.
directed by David Leitch, who started as a stuntman for Brad Pitt, became a great stunt coordinator, and is now a very successful director of such films as co-directing John Wick, directing Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, God, Fast and Furious Presents, Hobbs and Shaw,
There you go.
and Bullet Train. And this stars Ryan Gosling as Colt Fever, who is the best stuntman in the world until he's not because an accident. And
Get
he's down on.
accident.
Oh yes, we're spoiling this. It wasn't an accident. And he wants to reconnect with Jodie, played by Emily Blunt, who's now directing a big ass space romance adventure. And he must get to the bottom of the disappearance of Tom Ryder, played by douchey as hell Aaron Taylor Johnson. And this film is such a fun time. I had an absolute blast with this movie. They could have played Kiss at least like 10 other times. I still would have been down for it. But Rod, what are some of like the big things that stuck out to you the most about this one?
Well, this movie's okay. Average. That's why I've seen it 5 times. Yeah,
That's why you've seen it five times.
it's
So
just it's just average. I think Shane, being as you know, I'm a big rom-com fan. Rom-com guy. So this being pretty much it's an action movie, but it's really a love story.
it's a rom com
It is a rom-com,
with
and
action.
with
So
lots of action. The action was great, but I think the chemistry and the banter and the back and forth between Blunt and Gosling is that was the highlight of the film for myself personally, Shane. They're fighting while also flirting. It was just it was just so fun to watch.
oh, them finger guns and thumbs up and
Hol hol holster it.
holster it. They were too cute. They were just they were so cute
It
together.
was
And I'm just
adorable.
like, God, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are way too charismatic for their own good.
Really
And
are.
they're absolutely perfect together in this movie. And even from the start, like the opening sequence, like you get all the narration and you get Ryan Gosling like setting the stage in like an old school like Hollywood rom-com, and they're just talking on the walkie, and you just like, God, I want to go to that beach with them and just hang out with them
Right?
because they're wonderful.
Or be in the back seat while they're doing donuts in the car. Like it's just
Yes.
they're
They
just they
just
they just, yeah,
It's off the charts chemistry.
it is.
It works so well. I'd legitimately have to think about it for a while. Last time a rom com got me this good in terms of like the actual chemistry between the two actors. And it just makes me sad that we don't get a whole lot of rom coms anymore. It took this movie being $140 million and filled with giant stunts for them to make a rom com
Well,
like
Shane, look who you're
this.
talking to. I mean, there's one of my other favorite movies of the year, Shane. It's actually still in my top five. It's this movie with Lucy. I think you saw it, Shane. This movie with Lucy Hale called and then there's you. What's it called? With him and her and Alex Nat Wolf. Um,
Yeah.
I'm forgetting that now. It's I'm drawing a blank. I swear, guys, I like this movie. Um,
I did not,
which brings me to
but
you. Yeah, which brings me
I
to you.
do
Yeah,
know what you're talking about.
yeah. I I low key thought their chemistry was pretty solid. But nothing. All the movies I've seen this year, maybe Challengers, Shane, were like those three leads. They had insane chemistry together.
Um,
But this just felt more
that's
natural, more
unmatched.
realistic. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like, like, come on, just have a threesome already. Get the sexual tension over with. That's basically all the challengers from start
Yeah,
to finish.
basically.
But we're not here to spoil challengers, so I won't say more. We're here to spoil the Fall Guy, and just I felt so bad for Ryan Gosling's character, and then
Hmm.
that was when they revealed later. I'm like, oh, he's not gonna say it, is he? He did it on purpose, you
Hmm.
son of a bitch. And at that point, I'm like so far in Colt's corner. Like, I want this guy to succeed. That like I wanted to jump through the screen and punch Aaron Taylor Johnson in the face, or throw a tomahawk at him and yell Daniel Day Lewis, like Winston Duke did.
Can we talk about for a second just how I love Winston Duke? I thought he was great in this, and how he was just doing the film quotes. I thought that was wonderful. That was great, and I think my favorite was it was either the Rocky one in the beginning or the one at Aaron Taylor Johnson's apartment or condo.
The Last of the Mohicans
Yes, yeah,
one, and then which then preceded him chucking a tomahawk and yelling Daniel Day Lewis.
yep,
That was pretty great. They had great chemistry as a friendship.
they
Like,
do.
I
Yeah,
want to be friends with them. I want
I
to
would
hang out
too.
with them.
Yep.
And yeah, Winston Duke's a giant dude and beat the shit out of some people.
I was like, oh, this just came out of nowhere. Okay, he can. Some people are badass. Okay, all right, they can
Well,
fight.
that's the thing. You have to be able to do all of those things. I guess, like, when you
Exactly.
put them into practice, like, yeah, you could kick the shit out of people,
Yep.
especially when you're Umbaku. Like, he's a very large man, and
Yeah.
he beats the holy hell out of people. And there's so many like God. I think the first moment where I really realized what Folk could do is like that Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin level physical comedy fight
Yep.
between him and the girlfriend with the samurai sword,
Oh my God,
where
that's
he's
funny.
just doing all of these falls and everything and trips and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just like, damn, this is hilarious and fun.
Was that Teresa Palmer? That was Teresa Palmer because I know she was in the movie. I think that was her.
Yes, the
Yeah.
star. She doesn't get much to do besides, swinging a samurai sword around and in one fight scene. But then Hulk gets high because he gets drugged. And that fight scene where he literally knocks out a guy with a fork
Yeah.
was pretty legit. And then the unicorn that he proceeds to keep seeing randomly
That
with a
that fight
fun gag.
sequence was so creative and so much fun.
Mm,
And I think that's with like a lot of well, really with all of David Leitch's movies, Shane. His fight scenes, because of his background of being a stunt coordinator and all that,
yep.
they all feel different from one another.
Hmm.
And so I think that was probably my aside from the big bombastic third act sequence, which goes on a little bit too long, if you ask me.
That was one of my negatives of the film. I'm like, this probably could have been like tighter.
It could have absolutely 100%.
Like I can't tell this movie to lose weight. Like, just needed to be tighter.
Yep, I'm with
Yep.
you. That was my biggest complaint when I saw it for the first time. I was like, I really had a great time. This was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes too long.
Honestly, so brought up. So like the ending, feel like they could have tightened it up a little bit. And probably my only other glaring negative was I feel like most of the story makes sense and comes together.
Hmm.
I feel like the Stephanie Shu section of it, like narrative wise, just felt like an excuse to have that giant car chase.
Yeah, she was there just to kind of set up that great car chase sequence. and
which was
it's
great,
yes, it was a
but
great
like
sequence.
narratively was just like, and so we could get the dog
Oh my God,
because that dog was amazing.
that dog was so good. What was the dog's name again?
I don't know, Rod. You're the one who's seen this 5 times.
Yeah, there's too many kids. I'm too focused on Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. I'm sorry.
I legitimately don't remember what the dog's name is, but he's an MVP
Dog was definitely the MVP. I'm gonna be so mad.
because that
Sean Clark.
sequence one was so great from an action standpoint, and then it cross-cutting with Emily Blunt, who could legitimately
Right.
singing some Phil Collins on karaoke was just like, there we
Like
go.
we all know Emily Blunt can actually sing. So that actually
Into
kind
the
of bothered me
Woods,
too.
Mary
Yeah,
Poppins Returns.
exactly. We know she can sing. So it kind of bothered me that they kind of, cut in some of like, Phil Collins. Like, let's let her sing. Just let the woman sing, man.
I'm
Let us
never
hear
going to
her voice.
complain about having Phil Collins in a movie. But I get it. I get your point. But no, she was killing it. She
She
was,
was.
it was so good. That sequence back and forth was so great. Um, Great action. The One of my personal favorite moments was the boat stunts and when they started playing the Miami Vice theme song
Mm.
because I got so excited. I've probably watched almost every single episode of Miami Vice with my mom. So like when it was just like do 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 and just like yes. I'm like, it's actually Miami Vice. And he has Miami Vice jacket on and everything. And that whole heartfelt moment where he's on the phone and he finally opens up to her. I'm like, God damn it. This movie making me feel things.
Oh yeah, I get choked up when I watch it. I was like, fight back the tears, fight back the tears, and that just goes to Gosling's, charisma and just his charm it's
Mhm.
believable, right?
Absolutely. Oh no, Ryan Gosling is insane as a performer because like he can legit act really,
Yes.
really, really well. His reactions are incredible. His one-liners back at people are fantastic. His comedic timing is insane. And
Impeccable.
just like the way that, and he knows exactly how to say his lines too, to maximize laugh. Like some of the moments, and just the way he like will yell at Aaron Taylor Johnson a couple of times in the third act. I'm just like, oh, that was so damn funny. That line was funny, and then it was like 10 times as funny just the way Ryan Gosling said it.
Well, Cole, where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? Where did we go right?
Yes, exactly. I so obviously Hannah Waddingham is so hot right now, because of Ted Lasso. Um, she was up to no good the moment you saw her. I was like, the second I'm just like,
All right,
she's
so
not a good person.
so okay, I the first time I saw it, Shane, I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have known, but I didn't.
She got you.
She got me the first time. So when I went back and rewatched it this past Wednesday, I was like, wow, how did I not see that coming?
She so like she's really good at what she does,
Yeah.
which is manipulating people and being so fake. One of the funniest moments in the movie to me is when Ryan Gosling's in that weird alien costume and he keeps popping out behind the corner and it's just like just like flipping the just being like
Again, Gosling to me at time because at first it just pops up like and he goes away. And then he comes out, does the middle fingers. It's just so he's so good.
it's so committed. It's so
Yep.
great from start to finish. Just the action in this movie, the energy.
So much. It's
Like
yeah.
if David Leitch can bring the energy he brought to this and Bullet Train in all future movies, gold. He's good to go. It's just this one really struck a chord with me because like not only was it a great action movie, it was a legitimately good rom com.
Yes.
And I got me hook, line, and sinker. I wanted them to get back together. Made me so happy.
You
So
root for
happy.
them the moment you see them interact for the first time.
Hmm.
Because like it's the believability from our two actors, their charm, their charisma, just like the walkie-talkie thing, like you were saying. So
Yep.
sweet.
All one shot.
Yeah.
That was such a great one take too. That whole entire sequence, like him moving around and stuff like that,
Can
and
we
then the split screen.
oh split screen. That was so can we have yet to talk about maybe probably for me, probably the funniest moment, the continuous take when he's being lit on fire while she's going through, talking about her problems with
Processing her
Bolt.
trauma.
Exactly. Oh my God, Jane. So good. And then I love the guy in the alien costume is like, I have something to say. It's like I'm going through a similar situation when I fell in love with my wife's sister.
It's just like, no, 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 no,
No, no, no, no.
stop. Stop right now. But it works so well. And that the split screen moment, because like that is such an old school Hollywood rom-com thing to do.
Yes, it
So
is.
like Pillow Talk with like Rock Hudson and Doris Day. They'll do that split screen thing. And that was such like a 50s thing. And I appreciated that they brought it into this because those little things, those little choices made this feel like a rom-com
Yes.
with all the action around it. And like that whole entire back and forth was so good. And yeah, they all had to get a joke in. When he's like, you guys Oscars, right? For stuntmen, it's like, no, no, they don't.
That drug dealer, he has like 5 minutes of screen time, but he ate up every single moment he was on screen.
And it's like, of course, David Leitch had to throw in a jab there, how, stunt people don't get recognized by the Oscars unless they're going to put a Fall Guy tie in at the Oscars. Just like blanketly. It's like, come now. There should have been an Oscar, and it should have went to John Wick Chapter 4. Oh, there
Absolutely.
you go.
100%. 100%.
100%. No doubt about it. 100% should have went there. I'm trying to think, Rod, was there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
I, you know, I just, David Leitch as a director is so interesting to me because he's directed a lot of really just fun, entertaining, fully energized action films. And this one feels like his most personal because of his background. And so I really
Mhm.
appreciated that. And sticking around for the end credits too was such a nice treat. And I just with all the crowds I've been into, Shane, for this movie, everyone's been, just going along with it and having a good time. And it's definitely probably one of the crowd pleasers of the summers of the year so far. I wish this one would do better at the box office. I really do. I mean, we were talking about it before we started recording.
You're modestly.
Yeah, 28 million. I wasn't expecting like 70, 80 million. Don't get me wrong. It deserves it, but I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe 35 to 40, which I think the industry that was projected to be, and it fell short.
We're in a
You know,
bad spot box office wise,
we are.
to be honest. And it's sad. Because, like, this is the kind of movie that should have gotten, like, the good word of mouth, the good buzz, and done something. And now I inevitably have to go watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes underperform next weekend. And if it does, I'm gonna be so sad.
Well, like those movies didn't blow up the box office either,
No.
but they still made
Which
their
also
money
made
back.
me sad.
Well, I take that back. Dawn for the Planet of the Apes did. I think that movie made north of 700 million worldwide. War for the Planet of the Apes was just that was mismarketing because that was not what the marketing that movie was not what the marketing told you was going to be. But the marketing here I thought was terrific between all the stunt stuff. Like I think Gosling was on Kimmel last week, and they had this really cool intro for when he went on stage. This whole fighting certain members of the crew. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I really, I'm still going back and forth whether I love this or Dune Part Two more right now. And I just think the film part of me, like the film critics, like yeah, Dune's better. But me as a personally is like I love rom-coms. I love Emily Blunt, and this movie just satisfied everything I needed. So yeah, I hope this movie has legs. I know we got a lot of stuff coming up between Planet of the Apes, Furiosa,
Mhm.
um, Strangers, all that stuff. But I hope this movie has legs. It's a great date movie. It's a great family movie too. Take the family to
Yeah.
see this. My buddy, we went to see it, Shane. I took him Wednesday, then he called me Thursday. It's like, dude, I keep thinking about this movie. Can we go see it again? So I took him to go see it again Friday. It's just such a fun time, Shane. We don't get movies like that like this anymore, really. It's just like fun, crowd pleasing films.
Yeah. And crowds didn't go out to go see it. And y'all suck for it. Looking at
Yeah,
you people.
that's right.
It's
Tell him, Shane.
just,
Tell him.
well, after a while, who can you blame for not going back to the movies? People for not going back to the movies. There's movies out there, and there's good movies out there. Like, I'm not going to go, like, honestly, my number one film of the year so far is Challengers. And I'm not going to say that's a movie you should all go out to go see because I don't think it's going to be everybody's cup of tea.
No, it's not.
Not everybody's a tennis fan or a fan of like homoeroticism and probably a threesome happening. But
Hmm.
like this is a film that everybody can enjoy. The Fall Guy,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
people should go out and check it out. Show it some love,
Thank
but
you,
also
Shane.
go see Apes because that deserves your money.
Did you see the first reactions came out for that? But they're pretty strong so far.
Yeah, I was worried because it's not Matt Reeves, and it's a really awesome concept. Finally, getting to see like modern. This is an actual Planet of Apes kind of thing. So we'll have to see.
Let me ask you
Kingdom
this,
of
Shane.
Planet of the Apes and Furiosa are my two most anticipated other films for the whole rest of the year. So
Let me ask you this. There is sequel potential here. It's not going to happen though, probably. Would you like to see a sequel to this? Because I would.
100%.
Yeah,
I would love to see what other kinds of shenanigans these two could get into. Love it. Filming another movie and
yeah.
some kind of underhanded dastardly craps going on in the background. Let's make it happen.
Is this another nice guy situation, Shane? Or another Ryan Gosling movie that probably should have gotten a sequel? Yeah, yeah.
Well, we can't blame Angry Birds this time.
Nope. We can blame the people.
Nothing. It was like no other movie that was taking attention away from it.
Um,
So I can't blame challengers. It's
although
not.
it had less than a 40%, 50% drop this last weekend. So people went back to go either see it again or word of mouth was strong.
Went to the club, listened to that Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross soundtrack.
Such a good song. Oh my God, the soundtrack's so good for that movie. So good. Oh, the music all across the board here too was great. This
Yeah,
the Fall Guy.
they did some great choices in terms of
Yeah.
music, and then started incorporating Kiss into the score, which I'm just like, damn, they're really going there.
It's funny.
They're gonna make this song happen again, 50 years later.
Like, this is probably one of the shortest episodes I've done with you, but like, there's not a lot to talk about with the Fall Guy, but there's just so much to appreciate about this movie.
Just so much fun.
Yeah.
And they even squeezed Thunderstruck in there when he's
Yeah.
driving through a parking garage, driving like an asshole on purpose to teach an asshole a lesson.
Did you think, because I talked to a couple people, amongst Filmstagram who kind of had some issues with the first act. Did you have any problems with the first act? Just curious.
Not in particular. I thought it set things up well.
Yeah.
Like it set up all the story. It's what we needed. It set things up and you know, man fun Ryan Gosling looking like Thor, honestly. I'm just like, is it Chris Hemsworth? Oh, he's too short to be Chris Hemsworth. But he's ridiculously muscled out. I'm just like, good for you, Ryan Gosling. But no, I thought the first act did its job well, set
Yeah.
things up. Like I said, the only main things I really had a problem with was some of the narrative logic. That
Yeah.
one sequence in the middle just felt like it was there to be a sequence, and they needed to tighten up the ending action sequences a little bit, just a
Yeah,
little
that
bit.
that's why my biggest complaint. If I don't really have a lot of complaints with this, but like that's my big complaint is there was a moment in that third act where they could have wrapped it up and they kept going with like another 15 minutes of action. Don't get me wrong, I love action, but this was like we can wrap this up. And some conversations also kind of felt like we can probably cut this out and cut this out. But it
The like that helicopter sequence, he could have done like half as many flips, and we still would have gotten the feeling of it. Like I did love that stunt of him riding on the camera and
mhm,
then jumping through the air and grabbing on the helicopter. But no, they could have just tightened it up, you know. But this is a fun movie. All should go see
absolutely.
multiple times, I guess, to make sure that this movie makes some money. And to quote one of my favorite memes out there, doing my part. Rod's definitely doing his part. I'm not doing shit. There's a lot of people right now who haven't seen The Fall Guy yet, and you should go see
Oh man, that was good. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I ain't doing shit. I ain't done shit.
it. Exactly. Well, Rod, thank you
Oh.
so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me as always, Shane. Always a pleasure.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.